Evil Morty achieved total liberation by destroying the Citadel, but that was only the prologue. We were all waiting for Season 8, the moment he'd come back to crush weak opposition, unlock unlimited access to new realities, and rise to godlike status across infinite universes. Because with his infinite potential, every Rick would finally look powerless. Fans were convinced it was time for the strategic return. Stick with me till the very end of this video. This is expectations versus reality. Evil Morty achieves total liberation in Season 8, and it all starts when you imagine the Citadel of Ricks, the sprawling, high-tech metropolis floating in space, home to thousands of Ricks and Mortys suddenly erupting into chaos. In Rick Mirai Jack, Evil Morty executes the ultimate plan. He hijacks the Citadel's energy grids and portal fluid systems, turning the entire hub into a meticulously engineered bomb. Glass domes shatter under the stress, corridors flood with bright orange portal fluid, and explosions ripple through every district. The camera pans over debris spinning into space, and shards of the station drift helplessly, carrying the few surviving Ricks and Mortys in floating chunks of Mortyburg. The scene is cinematic perfection. Chaos, tension, and awe rolled into one. This isn't random destruction, it's carefully calculated. Evil Morty uses Rick-level genius to manipulate the Citadel's systems, ultimately punching a hole through the central finite curve, the bubble that ensures Ricks remain the smartest beings in the multiverse. The visual storytelling drives home the scale of his triumph. Corridors collapse, alarms scream, and every Rick and Morty faces imminent doom. We watch as explosions tear the station apart, and the haunting "For the Damaged" coda track underlines the scene, mixing beauty and horror. The destruction also has deep narrative consequences. Every institutional system, the Council of Ricks, clone operations, Morty assignments is obliterated. The Citadel, the supposed anchor of multiversal stability, ceases to exist. And yet, the genius of Evil Morty's plan is not only an annihilation. As the dust settles, Rick C-137 and Morty cling to a fragment of Mortyburg, staring at the vast emptiness where the Citadel once stood, shocked and speechless. The audience is left asking, how did one Morty outsmart every Rick? What comes next when the hub of Rick's civilization is gone? Even for viewers who just want a fun refresher, Evil Morty didn't just run. He redefined the rules of the multiverse. The Citadel is gone. Chaos reigns, and the stakes for every Rick and Morty are higher than ever. The stage is set, the score rises, and the question lingers in the void. Where does he go from here? Weak opposition awaits Evil Morty in Season 8, because the Citadel wasn't just a city, it was a factory for control. Thousands of Ricks and Mortys moved through its halls, but many weren't real at all. They were clones, preloaded with memories and programmed personalities. Unlike original Ricks and Mortys, these clones lacked creativity, intuition, and the messy emotional intelligence that defines the originals. They could replicate gadgets or follow instructions, but the moment something novel appeared, they froze. In Rick Mirai Jack, we see the fragility of this system. Clone Ricks attempt to reconstruct the Citadel after its partial collapse, repeating the same failed strategies over and over. They can build and rebuild, but they can't improvise, adapt, or think outside the box. Clone Mortys are even more limited. They're essentially living placeholders, tubes of replicated memories and behaviors. The animation is striking, trembling Mortys in vats, assembly lines pushing them into helmets, and glass corridors filled with lifeless eyes. For the viewer, it's a haunting visual reminder that the Citadel's perfect system is brittle, unnatural, and incapable of handling true innovation. Evil Morty, in contrast, is entirely original. He isn't a product of a system or a clone factory. His intelligence, cunning, and ability to strategize come from experience, not programming. That distinction drives the entire narrative. While the Citadel's clones are doomed to fail, one original Morty outwits the entire multiversal apparatus. For casual viewers, the takeaway is both thrilling and fun. It's the ultimate underdog story. A single Morty, cleverer than everyone around him, overturns an empire built by Ricks. Even without knowing every detail of the central finite curve, the visuals and storytelling make it clear this is brilliance in motion, and the show keeps us hooked. The clone's failures highlight Evil Morty's genius and set up the suspense for what he will do next. By the end of the section, audiences are left asking, what can one free-thinking Morty accomplish that thousands of clones could never dream of? The answer is already on screen: everything. Season 8 brings perfect stealth to Evil Morty. At the climax of Rick Mirai Jack, Evil Morty disappears entirely. He's not defeated, not caught, he simply steps through a portal into unknown space. For the story, this absence is a masterstroke. By removing him, the show forces the surviving Ricks and Mortys to scramble, exposing just how unstable the Citadel and its systems really were. Clone Mortys panic, Ricks are left without leadership, and the audience experiences the void of his absence. This disappearance also amplifies suspense. Showrunners Dan Harmon and Scott Marder have confirmed that Evil Morty will return, keeping audiences anticipating his next move. His absence allows his influence to linger without overshadowing the story. His shadow stretches across the multiverse, reminding viewers that he has already reshaped the game. Cinematically, the visuals reinforce this. Rick and Morty drift on a broken shard of the Citadel, staring into the infinite darkness, grappling with the enormity of what just happened. Even casual viewers can appreciate the dramatic tension. The villain isn't gone because of failure, he's gone because he outsmarted everyone. It's like watching the quiet aftermath of a heist. Chaos, awe, and the thrill of knowing the mastermind is still at large. Where did he go? What will he do next? By focusing on suspense and visual storytelling, the section makes the disappearance clear, impactful, and fun, even for viewers who don't recall every episode. Evil Morty's exit sets up the perfect mix of tension and curiosity. He's absent, but his presence is everywhere, and audiences can't wait to see what comes next. Evil Morty gains absolute control through Season 8. With the Citadel destroyed, centralized power disappears. The Council of Ricks, the multiverse's governing body introduced in earlier seasons, is gone. Bureaucracy, rules, and protections vanish, leaving Ricks to fend for themselves. Suddenly, there's no authority, no system to prevent conflicts, and no way to regulate Mortys. Mortys feel it immediately. The systems that once distributed them to Ricks, keeping them in line, are gone. And with the central finite curve compromised, Ricks no longer have the guarantee of being the smartest beings in their universes. Empty streets, floating clone Mortys, and displaced Ricks illustrate the collapse. The visual storytelling makes the scope of the catastrophe easy to follow, even for casual viewers. Narratively, this is huge. Evil Morty didn't just escape, he toppled the hierarchy of Rickdom. For casual viewers, it's thrilling and easy to grasp. The multiverse is in chaos, Mortys are free, and Ricks are vulnerable. The stage is set for new adventures, new conflicts, and new alliances. Even without understanding every detail of the central finite curve, the audience can feel the magnitude. The old order is gone, and anything can happen next. Season 8 delivers unlimited access for Evil Morty, and his exit isn't just dramatic, it's game-changing. With the Citadel collapsing behind him, he doesn't just hop through a random portal. He engineers a permanent, one-way dimensional breach that shatters the central finite curve. Picture corridors crumbling, alarms blaring, and a brilliant portal materializing a shining tear in the fabric of the multiverse. Through it, he steps into infinite possibilities, leaving Rickdom behind forever. The genius of his escape lies in precision. The portal feeds off the destabilized energy of the destroyed Citadel and the fractured curve itself, creating a self-sustaining system. Other Ricks might spot the opening, but it's designed to be untraceable and impossible to reverse. Even if someone attempted to rebuild the entire infrastructure of the curve, they'd fail without Evil Morty's original coordinates and calculations. He literally carves his own path through the multiverse, leaving a permanent mark on dimensional space. The animation emphasizes scale and spectacle. We see shards of the Citadel floating in zero gravity, Clone Morty's panicking, and Rick C-137 and Morty clinging to debris, helpless to stop him. The portal pulses with light, suggesting untold adventures and infinite universes awaiting him. For casual viewers, the sequence is visually stunning and easy to follow. Evil Morty didn't just run, he outsmarted everyone, leaving chaos behind while stepping into freedom. Thematically, the escape represents more than survival. It's a statement. Rick-level intelligence, once thought unassailable, has definable limits. A single Morty, leveraging cunning and planning, redefines what it means to be the smartest and most strategic character in the multiverse. The portal is both a literal and symbolic gateway, showing audiences that cleverness, creativity, and boldness can outmatch raw IQ. By the end of the sequence, tension peaks. The Citadel is gone, the multiverse is destabilized, and Evil Morty has vanished, but his influence continues to ripple. Viewers are left with a sense of awe and excitement, knowing that the story is far from over and that one Morty has changed the rules forever. Godlike status awaits Evil Morty in Season 8, as his escape forces every Rick to confront a shocking truth. Intelligence is relative, not absolute. The central finite curve had filtered out any being smarter than Rick, creating a controlled playground where he appeared omnipotent. But outside that bubble, the smartest man in the universe is just another player. Morty's evolution isn't about IQ points, it's about strategy, adaptability, and understanding the system's rules and then breaking them entirely. We see Morty drifting through a starfield free from constraints, surrounded by limitless cosmic possibilities. It's a cinematic reminder that genius isn't about status or gadgets, it's about perception and courage. For casual viewers, this is easy to digest. Morty isn't a sidekick anymore, he's a force of nature. His intelligence is defined by originality and resourcefulness, not by conforming to the expectations of Rix or the multiverse. Narratively, this transformation is dramatic and satisfying. Clone Rix continue failing at reconstruction, trapped in repetition, while one Morty moves beyond the rules entirely. The contrast between a system designed to manufacture intelligence and the chaotic brilliance of one free-thinking Morty highlights the stakes and rewards of creativity and courage. The audience is invited to celebrate this shift. Even if you're watching for fun, the thrill is palpable. The underdog has become the game changer. Morty's evolution redefines the series' power dynamics, showing that cleverness, intuition, and audacity can topple centuries of engineered superiority. By the end of this section, viewers understand the story's core message. Intelligence isn't about domination in a controlled system, it's about recognizing the boundaries, bending them, and stepping into the unknown. The visual spectacle and narrative clarity keep casual fans engaged, entertained, and ready for the next phase of Evil Morty's story. Evil Morty achieves infinite potential in Season 8. Now that Evil Morty has escaped, the possibilities are endless. He's no longer constrained by the central finite curve or the Citadel's bureaucracy. The multiverse, once carefully curated to favor Rix, is now a playground of infinite possibilities. He can encounter civilizations more advanced than any Rick, recruit allies who surpass his former peers, and explore dimensions that challenge every preconception about power and intelligence. For casual viewers, this is exciting and easy to grasp. Evil Morty is no longer a side character, he's a wild card. The show teases this freedom visually. Floating galaxies, unknown worlds, and silhouettes of alien civilizations hint at the adventures awaiting him. Every shattered fragment of the Citadel he leaves behind serves as a reminder that the multiverse is now more chaotic and more interesting than ever. Strategically, this future sets up Season 8 and beyond. He can build alliances, develop new power structures, and redefine what control looks like across infinite realities. Unlike Rix trapped within familiar rules, Evil Morty operates with total autonomy. Even casual fans can follow the logic. One Morty, free from systemic constraints, has the potential to shape the entire multiverse. The narrative stakes are high but accessible. The audience can anticipate future clashes, alliances, and mind-bending adventures without needing to understand the full mechanics of the central finite curve. The visual storytelling communicates scale, freedom, and suspense, making the concept thrilling for anyone watching. By the end, viewers are left with a sense of awe and anticipation. The multiverse has changed forever, and Evil Morty is now its ultimate strategist. The stage is set for epic encounters, clever schemes, and stories that push beyond the familiar boundaries of Rick and Morty. Season 8 brings strategic return to Evil Morty, and even in absence, Evil Morty's presence looms large. Season 8 teases his return by showing the ripple effects of his actions. Displaced Ricks, panicked Mortys, and the ruins of the Citadel. His disappearance builds suspense, leaving both characters and audiences guessing. Will he confront Rick C-137? Will he rally allies from outside dimensions? Or will he rewrite the rules of the multiverse entirely? Visually, the show emphasizes his influence. Floating fragments of the Citadel, glowing portal scars, and scattered Mortys highlight the chaos he leaves behind. Even casual viewers can see that one Morty has changed everything. It's clever storytelling. The villain isn't just off-screen, he's reshaping the universe from beyond it. The narrative hook is clear and accessible. Evil Morty's next move could challenge everything fans know about power, intelligence, and alliances in Rick and Morty. The animation, sound design, and pacing make the tension palpable. We anticipate his return, but the mystery keeps viewers on edge. This section is fun and cinematic for casual audiences. They don't need to memorize every episode. The story is straightforward. A single brilliant Morty escaped, destabilized the Citadel, and now holds the multiverse in his hands. Every ruined cityscape and panicked clone reinforces his genius and sets up an exciting payoff. By the end, audiences are left buzzing with anticipation. Evil Morty's story is far from over. He's a wild card, a genius strategist, and the architect of chaos, and when he returns, everything the show has built could be turned upside down. It's a thrilling cinematic tease that keeps casual and hardcore fans alike engaged and eager for what's next. Evil Morty's journey from Season 5's finale to the upcoming Season 8 represents one of the most dramatic character transformations in Rick and Morty's history. Through the destruction of the Citadel, he achieved total liberation from the systems that once contained him. His escape through the shattered central finite curve grants him unlimited access to realities beyond Rick's comprehension, elevating him to godlike status in the multiverse. This infinite potential means Season 8 could introduce us to alliances, technologies, and conflicts that dwarf anything we've seen before. Evil Morty isn't just another villain, he's become the multiverse's ultimate game changer, operating beyond every rule and limitation that once defined the Rick and Morty universe. Evil Morty destroyed the Citadel in Season 5, and many thought his story would continue in Season 8. But he never appeared, and the Citadel's fall was left untouched. Fans imagined he would fight off clone armies and the remains of the Council. Instead, the season focused on Rick's struggles, clone simulations, and side adventures like Jerry's Curse. There was hope he'd break into new dimensions beyond the central finite curve. But those worlds were never shown, and the story stayed close to Rick's own universe. Some believe this was the time he would rise to a godlike level, proving his limitless potential. That transformation didn't happen, and many were sure this would be the season of his grand return. But that return never came, leaving only new setups and teases for the future.